I still haven't forgiven any of you for letting me read Enies Lobby. In fact, for letting me start One Piece in the first place, knowing that I was on a train to pain. Oh, do you know how long it took me to get over the end of Enies Lobby? Do you know how long it took? It took too long. I don't even know if I'm ready still to read the post-Enies Lobby arc. I don't think I'm ready. Hi, welcome back to How to Train Your Gavin. If this is your first time here, I am reading through One Piece for the very first time, and I am currently on the post-Enies Lobby arc. Yeah, I did the arc. I did the arc recently, and it broke me. It broke me down into little fragments of what I thought I was. And I genuinely thought I was a strong, macho man. But apparently I'm not. The post-Enies Lobby arc is only 11 chapters long, and it covers chapters 431 through to 441, so that's volumes 45 and 46 of the manga in English, and it means I will be concluding the Water 7 saga in general. I am so excited to complete a saga again. Every time I complete a saga, I feel like I've just completed a huge level in a video game, and I just feel like I've just unlocked a trophy. It makes me feel accomplished. It does make me feel good. So this will most likely be quite a short video, which is a nice change compared to the previous two that I did for One Piece, where the Water 7 arc was 1 hour and 49 minutes long, and the Enies Lobby arc was 2 hours and 10 minutes long. So yeah, it'll be nice to just take it a bit more chill, although I say that. If something happens in this, I swear to God. Oh, there's Ace! Oh, Ace is back! Well, at least I hope he's back. He's on the cover of volume 45. Oh, I love Ace, my husband. Oh, you know what? Actually, that makes me quite happy. That makes me happy. Oda's not going to do anything that will emotionally destroy me so soon after just emotionally destroying me with the Going Merry, right? He wants to make me happy by bringing Ace back. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. I kind of sort of forgive him for what he did to the Going Merry. Oh, I'm so excited to see him again. Oh, okay. I'm actually more excited to read this now. I mean, I was excited to read it in general anyway, but knowing Ace is there, oh, I love him so much. Let's start our post-Enies Lobby arc journey together. And if you do end up liking the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. That would mean the world to me. Okay, let's go. Let's go, Straw Hats, let's go. Oh my god, I was not expecting a chapter that literally has so many revelations in it. So many different things happen in it. I was expecting to, just ease back into it. A lot of the arcs that begin with, like, a new chapter, the chapter is usually good, but it's not really anything too big, Usually there are seeds of things planted that Order does that grows throughout the entire arc, but like so many things happened in this chapter that I feel like are going to be so important and like so good to talk about. Firstly, we are back at Water 7. It's been 2 days since the incident, and Luffy's been asleep for those 2 days. He's still asleep, although he does wake up at the end. He's learned how to eat while sleeping, and you know what? Gear 2 was amazing, Gear 3 was even better, but to see Luffy eat while he sleeps, now that is a superpower I can get behind. Honestly, the leveling up. And also I want to correct myself actually, when I was mentioning the gears in the Enies Lobby arc video, I said Luffy would revert back to being a child whenever he used it, but that was just me being dumb. A lot of people in the comments corrected me. It's just Luffy getting smaller. He's not reverting back to being a child. He's just getting smaller and then he goes back to normal height afterwards. So thank you so much for explaining that and for explaining the gears a bit more as well. I do feel like I can understand them a bit better now. Always appreciate the corrections. Firstly, okay, so we are back at Water 7. Firstly, I think the first thing to note is that Usopp, or the Sniper King, is talking to the Giants. The Giants are there helping repair Water 7 after Aqua Laguna. A lot of places have been damaged, so yeah, they need a lot of repair work done. And Usopp is talking to the Giants, and they are talking about going back to Elbaf, like, in the future, while the Giants are helping out, and they offer to take Usopp with them. So there's an interesting thing happening there, because I feel like now we have Usopp, who is going to be torn between two worlds. One of his goals since the Little Garden arc was that he would go to Elbaf. He wanted to go there. He wants to be a warrior. And this is kind of a great offer for him. But at the same time, even though he left the Straw Hats in the Water 7 arc, he wants to come back. I feel like in his heart of hearts, he wants to come back and be with his friends again. Like, they belong together. You know how you heard that Mariah Carey song, We Belong Together? I feel like that's perfect for the Straw Hats. That is their theme tune. So that was the first interesting thing to note. Another thing as well is that the people of Water 7 are so grateful and so thankful to the Straw Hats and the pirates for saving Iceberg, for what they've done for Water 7. So it's nice to see them correct the wrongs of what they did in the Water 7 one when they were, well, I mean, it's not really their fault. They were incorrectly told that the Straw Hats were behind the assassination attempt on Iceberg. So it's not their fault really, but it's nice to see them, you know, try and be better, try and be thankful to the Straw Hats and want to say thank you and all of that. Like, that's great. I love the people of Water 7. I feel like of all the islands we've been to, I feel like the residents of Water 7 have been really well developed and they feel like real genuine characters. Like, it feels like the most real place that we've been to so far due to how active the entire city is. But it does look like Aqua Laguna like really took it out of Water 7, and Iceberg now wants to create an island that floats. Like, he wants to try and help the island float. And Frankie mentioned something about what you want to build a ship, I guess around Water 7 to help it float or something like that. And it's really great for his character because, you know, if we go back to Tom's Workers and the kind of aspirations they had as children growing up, building these ships and creating these incredible inventions are something that Tom has passed down to them. And it's great. It's so great to see Tom's legacy touching both Iceberg and Frankie, because one thing that I absolutely freaking loved in this was the fact that Frankie has said, well, he reveals what he spent his money on when he stole it from the Straw Hats. He spent it on this wood from this really mystical, elusive tree, this magic tree, and the wood frequently sells on the black market, and that's essentially what Frankie spent that money on. However, he wants to use that wood to build a ship for the Straw Hats. So at the end of the day, even though their money was taken and stolen in Water 7, it's come back to them. It's come back to them in the way that they were going to spend it anyway. They wanted, well, actually no, they wanted to repair Going Merry. That's what they wanted to do with it. But, you know, then when they realised that they couldn't repair Merry, they wanted a new ship. So essentially, like, everything's working out. Everything's working out for them. I don't want to get my hopes up too much, though, because when I say stuff like that, usually things turn south. But no, it's like, yes, like, this is what I wanted. I mean, I'm so sad. Like, I do not want to replace Going Merry. I don't want to replace her, but the reality is we're going to have to. She's unfortunately gone, and it breaks my heart. It really does. But they need a new ship, and the fact that Frankie has offered to build them it and give them it, oh, I'm just like, Frankie, I love you. I love you, Frankie, so much. I mean, you all could have just told me this in the beginning when I was slating Frankie and calling him all the names under the sun, making me look like a mug because of what Frankie ends up doing for them. I'm grateful because, again, no spoilers. No spoilers past the Post-Enies Lobby arc in the comments, please. I just love him so much, okay? There's no other words for him to describe him. And I'm not gonna lie, I have seen what the new ship looks like. I have seen pictures of it before, but I genuinely thought, like, my thoughts of it was that it was still the Going Merry. They just added to her. That was honestly my thoughts when I saw the new ship. I thought, oh, that's still the Going Merry, but they've just kind of leveled her up. That's what I thought they did. I thought it was still the Going Merry. I didn't realise it was a totally brand new ship. So I can imagine what I'm thinking of is what the new ship is going to look like. That's what I think. But yeah, this chapter was so good. Oh, and then the ending with Luffy's grandpa. With his grandpa, apparently he was somebody, Vice Admiral Garp, the legendary man who cornered the Pirate King on many occasions during the era of Gold Roger. He comes in, he punches Luffy, and he says, "You seem to be causing a lot of trouble." "Well, Luffy?" And then Luffy's like, "Whoa, Grandpa! Grandpa? What?" Oh my god, I love it. That might be why Ace is back as well. We're getting a bit of a family reunion for Luffy in this arc, maybe. You know, he says goodbye to Going Merry, which is part of his found family, and now we're getting his blood family coming back into this arc, potentially. I absolutely love the theme of found family and real family in One Piece so far. I mean, it's been an interesting look at both sets of relationships. I mean, we haven't seen too much of Ace, but we did see a bit of him. We saw enough of him for me to fall in love anyway. I love the fact that we've started off with such, a crucial chapter, I would say. I've just realized Shanks is on the cover as well. So there just seems to be like quite a lot going on in this arc already. I'm gonna have to take a break for reading because there is work getting done in the house next door, and it's been getting done since November, and they're taking the absolute goddamn time doing it. So the builders have just started up work again, so I can hear the banging. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I've got a microphone that should only focus on my voice right now, so hopefully you don't hear the banging, the scratching, whatever they're doing to the walls. So anyway, back to the chapter. Oh my gosh, is this a soap opera? Like, seriously, we're finding out who Luffy's dad is? Dragon, his name was? Monkey D. Dragon, the revolutionary, and he's leading some kind of revolution. And let me just get my head around everything that's getting revealed to me. Robin says there is a force that is trying to directly challenge the world government. That's a revolutionary army. The man who is leading them is Dragon. So, like, what a weird family. Seriously, what a weird family. So we have the granddad who is in the Navy. We have the dad who is a revolutionary. We have Luffy and Ace who are pirates. What an interesting bunch, honestly. They are not a boring family. I would love to see what Christmas is like around theirs. I can imagine it's quite entertaining around the dinner table during Christmas dinner. But also, Kobe and Helmeppo, they're back, and Kobe looks so different. I didn't even recognize him at first. But it's great as well because we did see Kobe and Helmeppo through the cover stories quite early on. I can't remember which arc it was during. I think it was probably during the Alabasta saga when we could see sort of Kobe and Helmeppo training to be part of the Navy and doing these odd jobs together. They were sort of like paired together. So it's really cool to see them come back, and I'm glad that the cover stories have been worth my while. But it's nice to know that my knowledge of the cover stories is coming back to help me in this moment, even though I just didn't recognize them at first. But the fact that they're working for Luffy's granddad, and I absolutely love the fact that absolutely nobody could recognize him at first. Zoro and Luffy didn't recognize Kobe at first, and then even when they say Helmeppo, they cannot recognize him or place him like for the longest time. Like even Helmeppo was like, Zoro, I had you sentenced to death, like you were about to die, and that was my fault. And Zoro's still like, but also the fact that Luffy's granddad just fell asleep out of nowhere, and so did Luffy, like both of them just fell asleep out of nowhere. And like Ace does that as well. Is this like a family trait? This is hilarious. But is there some kind of like deep rooted thing in that? I don't know. That part was funny. And then we did get at the start of the chapter, the granddad saying that it sounds like he put Luffy through hell. And Ace too. Luffy says that his granddad almost killed him when he was small. And Garp says, don't say things like that, people get the wrong impression. I threw you down that unfathomable ravine. I threw you into that jungle at night. I tied you to a balloon and watched you fly off into the distance, but I did it all to make you stronger. Now that sounds like trauma to me. That sounds like childhood trauma to me. I mean, I think Sanji's the one who says, oh, so that's where Luffy gets his resilience from. So, like, yeah, it does make him stronger. It has made him stronger, and he is more resilient. And maybe he does have his granddad to thank for his resilience. I don't know. But yeah, it's an interesting look at that family dynamic. I love the fact that we are seeing more of his family, though. I want Ace to come back in the next chapter. I want Ace to just randomly be like, oh, I was just on my way through Water 7. What are the odds? You know? And I wouldn't put it past One Piece to do that. Oh, and also we did find out more about Shanks, too. Shanks is part of... What is it called? Oh, yeah. So Shanks is now part of the 4 Emperors. He rules his part of the land with an iron grip, and he lives in the second half of the Grand Line. So that's interesting. The Navy and the 7 Warlords of the Sea are allied together against these 4 pirates. So if the Navy and the 7 Warlords of the Sea, which, remember, Crocodile was one of them, and he was a bad person, if the Navy and the 7 Warlords of the Sea are working together to try and take these 4 pirates down, the 4 Emperors down, then that's quite big, right? But he does say, if the balance between these 3 great powers is broken, the world will fall into disarray. So does that mean, like, I'm a little bit, not exactly confused, but I'm like, so when one of the 7 warlords gets taken down, they get replaced, right? So what if one of the 4 emperors is taken down? Do they need to be replaced? Like, are these different powers constantly supposed to exist? So, like, how are they supposed to take them down then? If they just constantly get replaced? I don't know the end goal of that. I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm sure it'll get explained, and I'm sure I will see it unfold better as the story goes on, but it was just such a revelation of a chapter again. That's 2 chapters in a row where I've just been mind blown. I want to continue reading right now, but I kind of want all of the noise and the stuff to not affect filming. And I do film straight after reading a chapter, so I can't just like read and then film later. So I won't have to put this down for now. But yeah, when you say me, it'll be darker. And yeah, just to explain the time jump. You know what? After 2 chapters where I had a lot to talk about, I thought, oh, maybe the 3rd chapter, I'll have less to say. But no, it seems like I have quite a bit to talk about. So a few things. I think we've said goodbye to Koby, Helmeppo, and Luffy's granddad for now, I think. And it was nice to see Luffy and Koby catch up. One thing I absolutely loved from the start of the series, and one of the reasons why I found Luffy so endearing, is how much he inspires other people to be better, or like to see the best in themselves and to believe in themselves. You can still see that through Koby. It's one of the reasons why, I mean, I was glad Koby didn't join the Straw Hats. That's not his dream. That's not his goal. And I think at the time as well, I wasn't like the biggest fan of Koby. But now, when I see him and what Luffy has inspired in him, it's an incredible transformation. And to see Koby still has that dream of being an admiral, even though, yeah, an admiral in the Navy, even though that will mean he's against Luffy, and he does say, one day I'm going to beat you, I'm going to catch you, and that's Koby's dream. Even Luffy's like, you know what, if he believes it, I believe it too. And it's like, yeah, like, it's hard to explain the influence Luffy has on others. Honestly, you have to read it and see it to believe it. But I believe his influence is just so monumental in so many people. And yeah, maybe I do believe one day Koby will catch up with Luffy. And I don't think he'll beat him. I mean, he can't beat him. It's Luffy. Luffy, in my eyes, is unbeatable. He is the best of the best. But it'll be really good to see in the future Koby come back and to see somebody who was quite, you know, important in the very early chapters of One Piece to be there at the end, you know, the end goal. Which now, it seems like the New World is what is waiting at the end of the Grand Line. Oh, actually, hang on, no, it's the second half of the Grand Line. So Koby says, do you know what the second half of the Grand Line is called? On the other side of the Red Line, the end of the ocean, is a place that they call the New World. So they're promising to meet each other again there. So it'll be really cool and interesting to see that come to fruition. If it comes to fruition, I'm sure it will. Oda doesn't just put something in just to randomly forget about later on, right? So I did love the whole catch-up between them, and to see Koby still so passionate about his dream, and to see Luffy is still touching his... Hang on. To see Luffy has touched him in a way that... To see that Luffy's influence has guided him. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Oh, huge thing as well is the conversation between Okiji and Robin, and for a second my heart stopped because I was like, we're not having another Water 7 moment where Robin ends up, you know, just completely leaving them and trying to save them. When you just hear Robin's name being called and Robin has that look on her face like, shit, you know, that freeze up moment, which funny because it was Okiji who has the freezing powers who said Robin, and they have a bit of a conversation. They're divided between a wall, which was really awesome. Honestly, I loved seeing that illustrated in the way that they're kind of just like, there is a wall between them. There is like an actual literal wall, but also a metaphorical wall. So Okiji is saying, you know, that day when he let Robin go in O'Hara, and he kind of made a promise to himself in Seoul that he would let Robin live, and he wants to see Robin live. Like, he does genuinely seem to care about Robin. He says if you acted on your own, you could have gone away from CP9, which he's like, no, I couldn't abandon them. I just couldn't leave them to die, which just reinforces Robin's incredible strength and determination from the Enies Lobby arc, where, yeah, I guess she could have left CP9 if she really, really wanted to, but she had the Straw Hats. Well, she put the Straw Hats before herself. She didn't think about what would happen to her. Well, she did think about it. When she screams, I want to live, that's when she actually started to realise that that was a possibility for her. She sacrificed herself for the Straw Hats, which was like a huge monumental thing. And we find out as well that Okiji and Jaguar de Sol were close friends. Since he gave his life to protect you, it's my duty to follow you and make sure you don't waste your life. That is Okiji. That is what Okiji says about Robin. And again, it just puts Okiji in like this whole different light, because I felt like, especially in Long Ring Long Land, that confrontation, you know, like he feels like he's being so split with what he feels like he should do as part of the Navy versus what his heart is telling him to do. And it seems like his heart is telling him that Robin needs to live and she needs to live her life, even though she is, you know, a big threat by having the knowledge of reading the poneglyphs, which is exactly what the government does not want. I don't know if it was right or wrong for Saul to let you live, but maybe you can answer that question for me. And then Robin says, I intend to. She intends to live. Then live out your life and prove to me that O'Hara is still alive. And then Okichi disappears. So yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. We also have, okay, again, like this just feels like a bit of a recap right now, but I'm, again, just processing everything. So we end up seeing the 5 elders, and they say one of the 4 emperors, Redhead Shanks, has broken through all lines and has finally made direct contact with Whitebeard, Edward Newgate. So in the Grand Line, the New World, we see Whitebeard, and we see the Redhead says he wants to see you, yeah, let him through. He better brought some good booze, that little punk. I mean, I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. I'm not sure the goal of Shanks. I'm not sure, like, the Whitebeard connection and stuff like that. I've been following along, but I'm, like, not really sure of intentions or what is actually going to unfold with that. But interesting. Again, it's nice to see that things are happening in the outside world, in the wider world outside of the Straw Hats, and that things are just constantly in motion. And we're just, like, getting ourselves along, you know? It feels like we're so far behind, but we're getting along quite well at the same time. Okay, yeah, I feel like I still have quite a bit to say about that chapter. It was a very good chapter, and I'm just really enjoying this arc. Even though it's like such a smaller arc, it feels like a lot's happening. Okay, Ace is back. I don't really know what's going on, but Ace is back. We saw him at the end of this chapter. Is Shanks against Ace? Why is he telling Whitebeard that he has to stop him? Why is he telling what? Ace, like, are Shanks and Ace enemies? Yeah, Shanks tells Whitebeard, I want you to stop Ace. Ace is strong. He's young, but he's good enough to become the 2nd Division leader. Why is Shanks so against that? And he also tells Whitebeard, don't go after Blackbeard Teach, who I think is just Blackbeard, who we saw at the end of Jaya, start of Skypiea. Oh no, we saw him in Jaya. Hold on, Teach, I've been looking for you. So this was just a conversation between Whitebeard and Shanks. And Shanks even says, look, I'm not here to fight. I know I'm on an enemy ship right now, but we're not going to fight. But then they do end up crossing blades by the end of it. And they somehow split the clouds. They split the heavens. By doing that, that's terrifying, but so awesome at the same time. But he's also talking about, like, the new era of pirates, that everything will go into chaos, and yeah, the new era of pirates, or the next era, is kind of dominated at the minute by Luffy. And what I love about the conversation with Shanks is that when Whitebeard asks about his arm, Shanks' missing arm, Shanks says he gave it up for the new era of pirates, which is Luffy. So I really love that callback. I love the fact that, you know, Luffy is seen as part of the new era of pirates, and, you know, he's a crucial part of that, I think. And I'm not exactly lost. I'm just, yeah, I'm reading it, and things are happening, and conversations are happening between these pirates. It's so interesting. I keep saying that. I say interesting a lot. But I think that's because there's just so many nuggets of information that really captures my eye. I think also Blackbeard is the one who gave Shanks this scar on his face. Like that scar, I think. I didn't get these scars on Adventure on my fighting Hawkeye. The one who gave me the scars, Blackbeard Teach from your crew. And it was because I was careless. He laid low and waited for his chance. He didn't even rise up, become a squad leader, or make a name for himself. He hid himself behind the giant shadow of Whitebeard. And once he had enough power, he finally made his move. A man like that will never be satisfied. He'll keep aiming for the top. One day he will aim for your seat. Wait, hang on. Wait, so was it Ace who gave Shanks his scar on his face? Wait, hang on. No, that's not right. The only one that aches right now is this one. He points to the scar on his face. The one who gave me the scar is Blackbeard Teach from your crew. So then he just randomly says, I want you to stop Ace, after talking about Blackbeard? Why is he just randomly cut to Ace during this conversation? And maybe it's just like the flow of this conversation I didn't quite... And then, yeah, Shanks says, don't go after Blackbeard Teach, that's my only request. But Whitebeard has to, because the souls of my dead sons, my crew, call out for vengeance. It's my responsibility to show that fool Teach that you can't live in this world without code of conduct. There is a lot of infighting. I was a little bit confused about the flow of that conversation. I do think it was Blackbeard who gave Shanks that scar, but Shanks wants Whitebeard to stop Ace. Ace better not be in danger, that's all I'm saying. Oh my god, yes. I mean, it's going to be so sad for Frankie to leave his family, but is he going to join the Straw Hats? Is he going to? Oh. I love seeing everyone have their bounties as well. Even Nami, and she's like freaking out. She's like, this isn't a good thing. But Sanji's is hilarious. Like, what is his face in that? Where is it? They did him dirty with this drawing. They really did. Those lips. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So, Luffy, 300 million berries. Zoro, 120 million berries. Robin, 80 million berries. Sniper King, 30 million. Sanji, well, it says Black Leg Sanji, photo not available, 77 million berries. Chopper, 50 berries. Cat Burglar Nami, 16 million berries. Oh, it says Chopper the cotton candy lover. And in brackets, pet. Look how cute Chopper is. Honestly, if he was on a wanted poster, I would not give him up. But also the fact that Frankie has a bounty, 44 million, means that he will not be safe if he stays in Water 7. And I said this in the Water 7 arc, or was it the Enies Lobby arc, when I said he won't want to say goodbye to his family. Like, he will not leave them. He will not leave Water 7. The place means too much to him. But if he has a bounty, then he has no choice. He'll have to leave. And Frankie's family comes to the Straw Hats and says, can you do us a favour? Can you take Frankie with you? I'm just like, yes, they can. They should. They better. It will be a great thing for him. Oh, but Frankie's saying goodbye to his family. That's going to tear me apart, isn't it? That's going to be really emotional. I loved this chapter again. Oh my god, I'm loving every single chapter. Right, few things. Let's talk about a few things. So Kokoro says about, Fishman Island, about how the log pose is pointing slightly downward, which means it's probably the next island is underwater potentially. But there is this scary thing first called the Florian Triangle, and you must sail through that area in order to reach Fishman Island. Every year, over 100 ships go missing in that ocean. They're usually found afterward with the crew missing. There are plenty of eyewitness accounts of ghost ships crewed by the dead. That is so terrifying. I fucking love it. I can't wait. And I think that's what the Thriller Bark arc is next. I feel like this is going to be part of that, because I have heard people say in the comments, if I like scary things, I will really like the Thriller Bark arc or saga, because it's just one arc, isn't it? The entire Thriller Bark saga is just one arc, the Thriller Bark arc. So I think I'm going to love it. And especially since we have the seeds of that planted with, it being scary and spooky and ghosts and, oh god, I love stuff like that. I'm going to eat this arc up. This next arc, I'm going to eat it up. Really awesome. It was so funny as well when Nami beat Luffy up. When she finds out that he spent quite a lot of money on the party that they had, celebrating and things, and they did have 100,000 berries left, and Luffy spent quite a lot of it. So Nami has allocated everyone some money. Luffy doesn't really have a lot, I don't think, because he says to Chopper, you're so nice, Chopper, thanks for buying me some water candy. And Chopper's gonna use the rest to buy medical books. Oh, I just love that. Honestly, Chopper's so cute. Zoro doesn't have enough for a new sword, bless him. Nami's like, ooh, these clothes look wonderful. And Robin's like, well, what about the furniture? Because Nami said she wants to buy expensive furniture for the ship. But she's obviously been, side-eyed by some clothes, and she needs to get those clothes. Sanji gets food, of course. Oh wait, hang on. No, Nami doesn't give Luffy anything. Luffy says, hey Nami, I want to go play, so give me an allowance. And she says, none for you. Bless him, he's literally got the biggest... Well, he's swollen all over. He's got this huge swelled up head, essentially. Bless him. But it's so funny as well. Violence against friends should not be funny, but it just is. It just is in One Piece. I don't take it that seriously in One Piece. It's played for laughs, and I'm laughing. I'm laughing. They've all got bounties now. Frankie has a bounty. Oh, please say he joins the crew, please. Oh, wait, hang on. Before I move on as well, in chapter 435, we have Usopp. He's building up to talking to Luffy about joining the Straw Hats again. So, he has these scenarios where it's like, goodbye, you guys, I made up my mind to go Albath. They would say, what? Don't go, we need you. And he would say, I'm kidding, I know exactly how you guys feel. And, he just goes through these scenarios because he wants to go back. He wants to come back to them. And I just love the fact that he's, really building himself up to do that. He wants to come back. And, this is the definite thing where, because I was wondering, is he going to go to Elbaf? But I feel no, in my heart of hearts I knew he wouldn't. But yeah, he's just playing with the scenarios in his mind, and he's building up to either getting forgiveness from Luffy, or if they're just going to act like nothing happened, he's always part of the crew no matter what. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they reunite. I wanted it at the end of Enies Lobby, and there kind of was a moment when Luffy was on the floor and Usopp shouts over to him, so there was a moment there. But we need the actual confrontation. We need the definite, oh, yeah, everything's forgiven. Let's just move on. Let's go to the next island. Let's go on an adventure again and become besties one more time. What the fuck? I've seen some odd things in One Piece. I have. Having the Frankie family steal Frankie's trunks and pretty much getting him to streak through the entirety of Water 7 is something I never, ever, ever would have thought to have mentioned ever. It was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. As soon as you see Frankie's bare bottom. And the Frankie family, like, the only way that they can get him to join the Straw Hats is if he's face to face with them. Because Frankie knows that if Luffy asks him directly, he can't say no. But he doesn't want to leave Water 7. He doesn't want to leave his family. So the only way for him to join them is if they pretty much force him to do it, even though he genuinely wants to do it. He wants to. When he was building the ship, he was apparently very happy. They've never seen him so happy before. And it's just hilarious. Hilarious to see him running through Water 7, stark naked, and to see everyone else trying to cover their eyes, calling him a pervert, trying to get him to get locked up, and he's under arrest. It's just like, it's so funny. Probably like the funniest moment in One Piece so far. And there have been some great moments. Even in this arc itself, there have been some really funny moments, but just in general, the whole series of events, it's just so funny. And then for Luffy to end up getting the Trunks and then Chopper and just like a race to the ship, which, oh, hang on, no, sorry. The most important thing that happened in this chapter was that the Straw Hats got unveiled the ship that Frankie made them. And it is an incredible ship. I've never had like a proper good hard look at it before, even though, as I said, I have seen it before in pictures, but I did just think it was the Going Merry. Just leveled up. But I mean, there are touches of it that remind me of the Going Merry, but overall, it's massive. It's huge. It's everything you could dream of in a ship, honestly. There is a lawn, there's like an aquarium, there is a flower lion head thing on the front there too, and it's incredible. It is an incredible ship. Again, I am sad about the Going Merry, but I mean, if they want to reach the end of the Grand Line, if they want to get to this new world, they do need something that's going to be able to withstand everything. And it looks like the ship will be able to do so much, and maybe a bit too much. Maybe this is like the best ship ever. You know, I feel like that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from it. It looks amazing, sounds amazing. I can't wait to see more of it. I can't wait to see them actually use it, go to the next island in it, and to have food there as well. It sounds like a really great place to have some food, especially if the aquarium's there and they can have fresh fish whenever they want. Oh, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. I want to briefly mention the cover stories as well. Inaru is still in the Endless Vast, which is essentially space. And yeah, he came across Lieutenant Spacey. I think they had a bit of a battle because Lieutenant Spacey is on the floor crying? Or that, maybe he didn't actually battle Inaru. Maybe he battled other things. Like there are, I don't know what's going on, in all honesty. It looks like there are like little people on the floor there, and I think Lieutenant Spacey battled them, and Aru's just watching like, what the hell is going on here? Maybe. But yeah, interesting cover stories once again. Yay, he's joined them. I'm happy. I'm so glad. And it was so touching as well to see how Frankie really helped the Frankie family in general, how he helped save each one of them. They said, Frankie, you saved us. Like, we need to think about your happiness too. And that's exactly what they've done and what Frankie is doing now. It was, again, hilarious when Robin uses her powers. Doffler grab Frankie's face, and everyone's like, Robin, she grabbed him. Robin, you're going to crush them. They're going to come off. They're going to break off, crush like tangerines. It's like, hey, Robin, I want him to see him out when he joins us. And he's just looking at it. Don't break it off. If you want a pirate to give up on his treasure he's set his sights on, you'll have to give a good enough reason, or he won't let go. The fact that everyone's watching him wincing in pain, and like everyone's like, oh, he might be a pervert, but like, this is torture, this is awful to watch. And the fact that he's still wincing in pain and agony and crying, and if he looks at Robin and says, oh, wait a minute, you're not doing anything. And Robin says, I only did it the first time. That big figure, he's pretending to be hurt so he has an excuse to cry. And it's like, I feel like Frankie is like the most emotional, the most sensitive person in this entire series. Honestly, I feel like he is me. He is literally me right now. I mean, not that anyone's grabbing anything, but just like in general, I don't know where I was going with that point. Anyway, again, just like, it's so great to see how they had to like really force him to be part of the crew, even though he doesn't really, like, he wants to be part of the crew, and they have to like sort of entertain him in a way. Like the whole making him feel like he has no choice kind of thing is like totally in his mind. And he does join them. And it's so great. And the Frankie family are always going to be there for him. He's always going to be their boss. And to see a little bit of a flashback to Frankie saying he wants to build the greatest ship that reaches the end of the Grand Line, and he wants to be the shipwright of the ship when that happens. And so, like, this is his dream. Like, and he is going to go. But he just felt so much guilt. He felt so much guilt about what happened to Tom, and he had to let go of some of that guilt in order to move on. And that's exactly what he's doing, and it's great. There was a moment actually in the chapter before, which I forgot to talk about, because again, like, we had the whole streaking thing happen. So the Navy headquarters, and they're talking about the photos of the bounties that were taken. And the guy who took the photo, the one of Sanji, says, "Look, it's solid black, truly a mysterious phenomenon." And then the guy says, "Did you by any chance forget to take the cap off the lens?" So that explains why Sanji was drawn. It's just hilarious. Again, hilarious. So many funny things have happened in this arc. I just can't get over just how funny this thing is, especially after we've just had the moment that broke me, the moment that made me cry for so long in chapter 430. I will never forget chapter 430, the chapter that broke the camel's back. And literally just constant humour since. And I'm very appreciative of that. They do have to leave the island stat because Luffy's granddad is about to attack, apparently. So Zoro and Sanji have, like, ran and are like, "Come on, we need to leave. So, yeah. But Usopp, they still need Usopp. Having Usopp will mean that the crew is complete with the newest crewmate, Frankie, and it's going to be full steam ahead to our next island. Oh, and that was tears of joy have just welled up in my eyes right now. I was so worried for a second because we started the chapter with a bit of a flashback with Zoro kind of giving Luffy a pep talk about, you know, like, Usopp, he disrespected you as a captain. We need you to be a captain. Like, you have this responsibility. You can't just let Usopp just come strolling back like nothing happened. He needs to apologize for what he did, and you guys need to only accept him back when that happens. And I was honestly worried because while Usopp is running to the new ship, he is going through all these scenarios again and, you know, saying all of these outcomes like, "Oh, chop of the weather's nice today, isn't it? Oh, Luffy, do you want to come fishing?" You know, things like that. Stupid, silly things like that. That I feel like even Usopp knows deep down were just silly things, you know, just to try and avoid conflict and try to avoid saying sorry. But when he sees the ship's leaving and he doesn't even pay attention to the fact that the ship's being attacked, he's just like, "Why are you guys leaving me? Like, don't you guys care?" And then he just screams, "I'm sorry." He screams it so loud that even though there's so much chaos happening on the ship because Luffy's granddad is throwing cannonballs at them, he's not even just, you know, getting cannonballs shot at them, he's throwing them. He's actually throwing them. Like, wow, what a strong guy. And he's like, "Haha, I'm getting old. They're not as fast as they used to be." Just like, are you serious? You're actually throwing cannonballs and you're worried that they're going too slowly because you're getting old? Like, again, that's hilarious. But just like the fact of everything that's going on at once, it was just brilliant. And like, yeah, Usopp on the floor screaming, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Like, I know I'm being pathetic. I know I said I already quit. Can I take that back? Please let me take it back. Please forgive me. I want to be with you guys one more time. Please let me join. And he's literally like on the floor crying his eyes out. And you just see Luffy's hand stretch all that way to grab onto Usopp. "You idiot, hurry up and grab on." Oh, and Nami's happy. You guys all look so dumb. Come on, guys, onward to adventure. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. They've got their new ship. It looks amazing. All of the crew are together. Oh, that moment with Usopp apologizing, though, was monumental. It was monumental. I think my favorite moment so far in this arc. Yeah, it somehow beats Robin grabbing Frankie's balls. Somehow manages to beat that. The emotional roller coaster I've been on with this series recently. Enies Lobby broke me. Post-Enies Lobby is repairing me. Again, though, the arc isn't over yet. There is still time for something bad to happen. It almost got me again when Frankie said, "If your Go America do it, there's no reason the ship can't. It's better in every aspect. But that ship's brave soul will be carried on by the 1,000 Sunny." And what a great name as well, 1,000 Sunny. That is the name, isn't it? Because I know the English translation says merry go for the go and merry, and it took me a while to get the hang of that. So is it definitely the Thousand Sunny, which is a name that Iceberg came up with. So I love the fact that he did that, because the names that Luffy and everyone were coming up with were ridiculous and absolutely silly, which I don't put past them. But the Thousand Sunny is a great name. You know, they're sailing the thousand seas, and the fact that the line does look a bit like a sunflower on the front, and just like the idea of sunny and the sun always being there, and you know, it's a great name. It's just a really lovely name. So it was absolutely awesome to see the ship fly. To see it like go up. That was the trick that Frankie said to get away from Luffy's grandpa. That was awesome. That was so awesome to see. I have such high hopes for the adventure now, and the place that they're going to next. It says Fishman Island, but I believe the Fishman Island isn't for another few arcs or sagas even. So something's going to happen before then. They're going to go into that triangle thing and come across Thriller Bark, which I don't know, is that the island name or is it just the saga name? Either way, we are on our way. It was amazing as well to see Vivi again. We got to see a brief flashback, well, one to Smoker, and to see him and how he's going to crush the Straw Hats. Like, that is his huge mission. But we also see Alabaster, and they see the bounties, and they say that Robin, aka Miss All Sunday, is with them. And they're like, Vivi's going to be so upset, but then Vivi's like, I don't care, I trust Luffy. And the fact that she still trusts Luffy, she doesn't even question the fact that Robin is with them. She doesn't question it at all. She just trusts Luffy explicitly. And it's just so great to see that. It is so great to see her happy and to see her back. I mean, it was probably just for the one chapter. Just that tiny little moment as we leave Water 7 to see Vivi for just a second. And it was a great second. I loved seeing her. I miss her. There's no point in worrying about it. Whatever he does, I trust him. He will become king of the pirates. I just love that she still holds that. It's the same with Kobe. Again, Luffy's influence is endless. Oh, and it was also really nice as well to see Frankie's family take to Iceberg, and they're calling Iceberg Big Bro now, and Iceberg's like, stop that. It's just so good. It's so good. I really want, like, maybe at the end of all of this, what I would love is to go back to all the islands, just to see what's become of them, what's become of everyone. I want to see Alabaster thriving. I want to see Water 7. I want to see if Iceberg has made the ship to make it float. I want to see Frankie's family and see how they're getting on. I already miss so many people. I already miss Water 7 and I've just left. We have just left. I already miss it. I miss the people there. I miss the people we met. I obviously don't want the series to end, but I can't wait to come back, you know? Like, I've only just left and I can't wait to come back. Oh, I would have been so mad if I had to have waited for the next volume. Whew, okay. Where do I even begin with this? Well, we went through island by island, village by village, you know, because we saw Alabaster, right, at the end of the previous chapter, and we saw Vivi, but we see our Straw Hats' hometowns, and we see how much they're celebrated by either their family, their friends, the people from the village. I mean, there is some backlash. There is a guy from Luffy's hometown who's like, oh, he's put a bad name on the village and stuff, but generally, a lot of people are proud of our Straw Hats, and it's, again, so nice to touch base with people we've seen, people we've met, but we haven't seen in a long time, just to catch up with them, just to see how they're getting on. It's just so lovely and touching and amazing. I loved seeing every single one of them. That was all fan-frickin-tastic. But the main thing of this chapter was the fact that we go back to seeing Ace and Blackbeard, and we did have a moment a good few chapters back, but we didn't say anything after that, so we go back to that moment, and I'm terrified. I'm scared for Ace, actually. Well, firstly, Blackbeard is like, join me. I'm going to kill Luffy. And then Ace is like, Luffy's my brother. Don't you fucking dare. Which I'm like, yes, Ace. Ace is like the best big brother ever. Like, seriously. Just when he can't get any better, really. Ugh. But like, he defends Luffy and he's like, I've heard about you. And we do get more of a reasoning behind Blackbeard, because we do hear, well, we did hear from Blackbeard when he was talking to Shanks about how Blackbeard had killed a crew member, and it was because that crew member had a devil fruit that Blackbeard was after. And the rule is, if you find the devil fruit, you have the right to eat it. So, yeah, Blackbeard did something absolutely awful and killed him, took the devil fruit, and so Blackbeard has the darkness devil fruit, or whatever it's called, because he is filled with darkness. The end is so terrifying. Like, this whole panel here, this whole spread, Ace, your body is made of fire, right? Ha ha ha, you may be fire, but I'm made of darkness. Isn't that terrifying? Look at Blackbeard's face, that's terrifying. Ace doesn't seem all that concerned at the bottom there. I mean, I'm sure he is deep down. He's probably like, shit. But he's got a very stoic face on And that's just how I remember him. It is just so scary and intense and cool. And this is how we've ended this volume. There's still one chapter to go. But yeah, Blackbeard wants to take over Whitebeard. Whitebeard's era is over. I will become king of the pirates. And for starters, I'm going to go kill Straw Hat Luffy at Water 7. I'll present him to the government as a gift. Ace is like, that's another reason to not let you run loose. He's my brother. And of course I'm not going to join you. Boom. And you know what? Ace's powers are so cool as well. We haven't really seen his powers in action, I don't think. I don't believe we have. Maybe I've just been too busy gawking at him to realize when he's used his powers. But like, he's got really cool powers like boom, 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 fire, fire, fire. It's awesome. Ace is just awesome. Fire Fist Ace. I was about to say something there. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. Volume 45 done. On to volume 46. You can't leave me there, you little bitch. What in the world? Blackbeard, what? The dark fruit, the darkness power inside him, but he can absorb other people's devil fruit powers and leave them without their devil fruit powers? What? But also the end of this whole thing, because obviously Ace, Fire, Sun, and Darkness, it's like a total juxtaposition to one another. Only one of us will win, and Ace says, I will make Whitebeard the king of the pirates. And this amazing, amazing shot of the kind of powers coming together, clashing together perfectly. And then at the end, the duel at Bonaro Island in the Grand Line, this battle between pirates, will later be identified as the trigger for the major events that were to follow. And you're leaving me on that? I'm speechless. I'm stunned. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but Blackbeard's power, I'm terrified of it. The fact that he can, what was it, black hole? He did a black hole thing, and the town that he was in was pretty much just like obliterated, sucked in, and just obliterated, made into just scrap wood. Oh, I can't cope with how powerful Blackbeard is right now. And Ace is right there. Please say Ace escaped. Oh, I mean, I feel like maybe the duel is still happening. I mean, if anybody can get away from Blackbeard, it'll be Ace. It will be Ace. Just the entire chapter, but the fact that we had that black vortex move, the gravity of darkness can pull the actual body of devil fruit users, and like, it was so close to getting Ace's, I mean, he actually does touch him. And as for my body, well, you probably noticed it by now, Ace. The other thing my darkness can absorb is the power of the devil fruits. In other words, while I'm touching their bodies, a devil fruit user loses their powers. And he does actually touch Ace there, so I actually thought for a second, wait, did Ace just lose his powers? But no, he still has them. But Blackbeard still wants Ace to join him. He's like, it would be a shame if you died. But Ace is like, well, there's no point me living if I'm part of your crew. If I bow down to power, what's the point in living? I'll never live my life with regrets. Do you understand that, moron? Powerful, powerful stuff. I'm just, oh god, like, I wasn't expecting these huge bombshells to happen. Blackbeard has come back in such strong force. Like, I can't believe just how powerful he is. I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but I can't believe it. I refuse to believe it. If he and Luffy ever come face to face, like, I'm genuinely now concerned for Luffy. I'm never really that concerned for Luffy. I always think, oh, he's going to come out on top, he's going to win, he's going to be fine. But this thing that Blackbeard's just unfolded on us, I'm just like, what? And this whole sequence of events, this whole thing that just happened is apparently important to what's going to happen next. The trigger for the major events that were to follow. What's going to happen, guys? Guys, stop. Don't keep clowning me. What are you doing to me? You are literally trying to destroy me, aren't you? All of you guys have had the dark fruit, haven't you? And you're trying to pull me in with your black vortex powers and trying to obliterate me. Well, it's not going to work. This is where I end One Piece. I'm not reading anymore. This is the end. This is the end. I'm kidding. But, like, what? The story has just exploded. The story's exploded. Everything is happening. I can't comprehend. My brain can't comprehend it, but it was a fantastic chapter. This is actually going to be a hard one to read, I think, because I feel like I loved every single chapter. I loved every single chapter. I loved the story. Like, we don't have to have a big, huge bad or anything. I know I said this about Long Ring, Long Land, but I just didn't like that arc in general. But this one was so crucial. This one, it had all of the humor that I wanted. It had so many fantastic, funny moments that I will never forget. We had huge revelations. I feel like this is a turning point. I feel like this is genuinely the turning point of the series. And I feel like I'm witnessing history. I feel like I'm witnessing history right now. And I can't explain it, but I do. I feel like this is monumental. I feel like this is so important and unique and amazing. I don't think I loved it as much as Water 7 or Enies Lobby in just general scope and just like from beginning to end. Like, I don't think like this is my favorite arc, but I will say I'm probably going to give this like a 9 out of 10. I feel like it's up there in terms of just everything. My emotions, everything it did to me, the story, 9 out of 10. I can't explain it. It's 9 out of 10. Really just a fantastic arc in general. I loved it. I loved it. So yeah, that is the Post-Enies Lobby arc done. And we are now going on to the thriller box Saga. I can't wait. I thought I loved One Piece before, but I love One Piece now. You know, I thought I did. My feelings are magnified in a way that I can't explain. I thought I was at 100% before, but I obviously clearly wasn't. I love it more. How does this happen? Honestly, keep this up. This might be my favourite story in the whole world. Like, my favourite story. And I can't, yeah. My favourite story in the whole world. I feel like, give me a few more volumes. Give me a few more arcs. And I feel like I will be able to say that with 100% clarity. But One Piece could literally be my favourite story of anything in the whole world. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, keep watching my future arc videos to see if One Piece does become my favourite ever story of anything ever. Because it's going in that direction. I loved it. So that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave all your comments down below. Let's talk One Piece Post-Enies Lobby down below in the comments. Tell me everything. Did you agree with what I said? Did you disagree with what I said? Just chat One Piece to me down below. I always love doing that with you guys. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons for supporting my channel. If you'd like to join my Patreon or follow me on any social media, then all the links are down in the description box. If you would also like to come to Japan with me in September 2023, I have a link for that in the description box as well. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye.